I'd like to introduce you to Charlotte Wibberly. She's the founder of VIP VA. Now, in the last few years, I'm sure many of you have noticed that there are a huge amount of PAs who are moving into starting up their own businesses and working as virtual assistants. It's certainly a shift in how we work, and actually it makes a lot of sense for organisations to employ VAs. So this is something that we're going to see more, I think. It's something that we potentially should all be considering. Charlotte's the perfect speaker to talk about this subject. She was a personal assistant. She moved into her own VA business, and now she coaches other personal assistants who are thinking about starting their own business. So everyone, please give a warm welcome to Charlotte.
Thanks, Nikki. Thank you for joining me today. I'm thrilled to be here with Nikki and you guys to talk about the future of the PA profession. For those that don't know me, as Nikki's just said, I'm Charlotte, and I run VIP VA, which is an organisation that coaches and trains VAs, as well as supporting existing VAs as well. So I've got quite a big community that are generally looking to me for some sort of guidance, which is both wonderful and terrifying. So what I want to do today in our quite short time together is really tell you a little bit about my own journey from moving from being a PA into running my own VA business, and then into now coaching and training VAs as well. And then after that, what I want to do is kind of give you some tips and tricks about how you could get started if this is something that you feel could be part of your journey in the future as well. So does that sound good? Everyone with me, at least just before lunch, yeah? Okay, I just want to say as well that I do want this to be quite interactive, so if you've got questions, please do just put your hand up and ask me rather than necessarily waiting to the end, although there will also be time at the end as well. So, hopefully... I feel like Madonna in this, by the way. Don't look like Madonna. So really for me, my story started back in 2012. Well, actually, it started much earlier than that, but I won't tell you how much earlier. But my VA journey started back in 2012. I'd been a corporate PA for 15 years in the city. I'd loved it. Everything was warm and squishy in there. I absolutely loved my team, my boss, everything. I fell pregnant, which was a very good thing, but there was absolutely no way I was not going back to my job 5 days a week, full time. There was no way that wasn't happening, or so I thought before I had the baby. Of course, I knew absolutely nothing, and as soon as I'd had my son Alex, I didn't want any of that stuff. The appeal of going out in the city and being part of something, oh my God, the commute just wasn't there anymore. So I had kind of two choices. I either had to put Alex into full-time care, or I had to decide whether I was going to try and do something more flexible. My boss at the time was not understanding. He offered me, I think it was 4 days a week, none from home, one from home, that was right, but he'd tell me on a Sunday evening which day that was going to be that week. So that was interesting, really good conversation with him. So you can imagine what I said, which was no thanks. And I ended up, well, actually that might not have been what I said, but oh, he was an idiot. But anyway, so I actually decided that rather than look for anything part-time near me, I was quite aware of the PA industry and what kind of roles were out there, but what I would do was leave. At the time, I had absolutely no idea what I was going to do. I looked into things like training as a baby masseuse. Baby brain, I don't know what was going on. But ended up kind of stumbling across this whole concept that was a VA, and thinking it sounded like something I might be able to do. So I'd met up with a lady that I knew locally to me that had done something similar, and within 5 minutes of being in this coffee shop with my lovely friend Maggie, she'd convinced me this was absolutely for me. Obviously, she gave me the rose-tinted spectacle version of it, which I promise I won't do for you guys today. But, you know, the flexibility, the fact that I could use my existing skills to serve clients and be valued by clients, but not have to do that commute and to do things really on my terms was, oh my God, as a Leo, I was well into it. So yeah, I started down my path towards being a VA. Now, this was basically my face when I went into knowing about what I needed to do to actually set up and run this VA business. How was I going to find my clients? how I was going to work with my clients, what services was I going to offer, how would I charge. I just had absolutely no idea at all. What I actually did was took on a coach, a really fabulous VA coach, who sadly doesn't do that anymore. But she helped me through those initial steps in terms of going, this is how you need to set your business up, this is how you'll find your clients. And I was up and running with it, I think, 3 months, still on maternity leave at this point. So after that, after finally getting my VA business off the ground, which, as I say, took about 3 months, this was my face. I was finally feeling the freedom. Okay, I didn't have many clients, but I had some clients who said yes, they would pay me. And I was able to juggle being a mum to my son Alex with running a business and actually using the skills that I built up over all of those years. This has never been more important than this month, where I nearly had to cancel talking at this conference because that is my son Alex's leg, which you might see here. I don't know if you can see on the pixelated screen, has got 2 rather large cracks in it. Having started school in September, he decided to run and trip in the playground and broke his leg quite severely earlier this month. And it's been a pretty traumatic few weeks, if I'm honest, but this presentation's well timed because what it's made me really reflect on is what the hell I would have done if I'd been employed and not been running my business flexibly, because he's got 8 weeks off of school. To be clear, there's been a lot of Lego done in the last few weeks, and I'm only 3 weeks in. That's the worst bit. But you know, this is exactly, as sad as it is for my son, this is exactly why I do what I do. It's to be able to drop him at the school gates. It's to be able to be there when things happen. And I don't know what I would have done if I'd not been running my own business. So, what about you guys in the audience? It'd be really useful for me right now if we could just find out where you guys are on the PA to VA spectrum. So kind of hands up if you are happy as a PA, you're just here because you wanted to listen to something different, or you were in the other session. Okay, a couple of you. Oh, quite a few of you. What about if you are a PA that's kind of thinking you might do something different in the future, but you're not really sure? Okay. Fabulous. And what about those that you're sitting there going, yes, I definitely want to be a VA? Ah, excellent. Great, you're going to like this then. So for those of you maybe in that middle camp that are going, why would I make the transition from PA to VA? What's in it for me? What are the reasons that people are making this transition? Well, there's lots of reasons. There's a lack of flexibility in corporate roles at the moment, meaning it can become harder and harder to be employed and look after your son with a broken leg, or have your children and have other commitments outside of work, and to live more freely and fulfillingly. There's also, particularly from the session that I've just done, the Dare to Ask session outside, which was really insightful, there's a glass ceiling on what PAs can typically earn or where they can progress to in organisations often. So you as PAs might be used to, certainly as I was in my PA profession, being the bottom band in a corporation, which really restricted where I could go bonus-wise. I had a cap on where I could ever get to salary-wise, and there were certain positions that I could never apply for because I was the lowest band in the company. Didn't matter how many years I'd been there or what my expertise was, my title gave me that band. Tied into this, there's this growing unhappiness with the remuneration and the recognition. I think often the recognition is more important for PAs in the corporate environment. We want to be thanked and we want to be recognised for the true value that we bring. And often that's lost when you're in a corporation and you can just be a number. Tying into the first session of the day as well, around the artificial intelligence piece, will the PA role be there forever? I don't know. I haven't got a crystal ball. But all of the indications that I get from looking at the tech that people are using is that there will be fewer, more highly skilled PAs, but they might also be working virtually. So there's lots of people that are kind of deciding at the moment that they're going to take that leap. They're going to choose to take that leap rather than be forced out into the virtual world. Now, the reality is that most of the VAs that I know personally within my community that have made that change have done so when they've been probably pushed or pulled. So it's around becoming a parent. So if they've had children, they suddenly want to, God forbid, spend some time with their kids rather than be dropping them into nursery at 7 and picking them up at 7. Or it's a bit around being made redundant, where they've been working for years and suddenly they're finding that they haven't got as many options now. The PA opportunities out there aren't as many, so they can't get employment again. So they're thinking, what can I do? What can I use my skills to do? Equally, we've got a lot of people that are starting VA businesses when they are moving towards retirement age. And suddenly they're finding that, again, they're not able to get other jobs. And actually, at that stage in their life, they want to be doing something where they can still generate income, but they don't have to be in an office environment. So these poor ladies will kill me for this. These are 3 of the ladies that I've got in my community. You might know some of them, but I just wanted to share with you, hopefully just from an inspirational point of view, the kind of journeys that they've also been through. And some of them might resonate with you guys. So along the end, we've got the lovely Tiffany. Oh dear, she's going to kill me for that as well. And she was a PA who made the leap when she had a falling out at work with her boss. And was given a compromise agreement. So she was given a large sum of money to invest in training and coaching and building up her VA business. And I asked her when talking about this presentation what the best thing is about running her VA business. And she said it's the fact that now she feels truly valued for the work that she does. Her clients make her feel truly valued for the work that she does. Whereas when she was in her corporate position, she was never ever given any recognition or reward for that. Then we've got the lovely Claire. Now, Claire worked in banking for, I think, 15 years. And she started her VA business last January, having been made redundant, basically. And had always kind of thought she might want to toy with being a VA, but had never really had I think her company had always given her enough of a pay rise or enough of an agreement that she never really had that push to leave. But she did so in January last year, and she started her VA business after some training with me, and she is currently at capacity with a team of associates. And the best thing for her, she said about running her VA business, is that she's got a 5-year-old daughter, and it means that she can pick Matilda up from school. So that's her. And then I've got the lovely Kathy, who usually comes with me to these speeches, but some of you might know her. She's the author of a book called Virtually Painless. Does anyone know about Virtually Painless? Yeah? Okay. Hilarious. I can't really quote from it. You'll know why. Kathy says what she thinks in her language. But she's a bit different to the others because she didn't start her VA business around having children. She started her VA business because she was kind of tired of being in a corporate environment with that glass ceiling, and she decided that having a friend that had done something similar and started a business was enough inspiration for her to go ahead and start her own business. And now she's 2 or 3 years in, having written this fabulous book. If any of you get a chance to read it, it's very worthwhile, the kind of reality of running your own business. So that's just kind of some of the stories about starting that might resonate with you, whether it's, for those of you thinking about making the leap, whether it's based around children or whether actually it's just that you're looking to do something a bit more for yourself. So you're probably now all sitting there thinking, come on then, get on with it. I've got a head full of questions about how, why, when, where I get started, and you'd like some answers. I don't blame you. So before I came to this talk, what I did was I went out onto my social media channels and I actually asked people, thought you guys would know best, about the questions that you have around getting started. And some of the questions that I had were, how much will I get paid? Always number one. What services should I offer? How does it work in practice? Can I actually do this? What do I need to have in place? How do I find my clients? Again, always top of the list. And how do I get started? So what I want to do now is just pick a few of those to go through to give you some insights into, if this is right for you, how you can actually get started with your VA business. So, how do you find your clients? Oh, it's a $1 million question. As a VA, running your own VA business, you are entirely responsible for your marketing and bringing clients and revenue into your business. So our clients can be anywhere. I personally am based in Chelmsford, Essex. When I was running my VA business, had clients in the US, I had one client in Singapore, and the rest were dotted around the UK. And the way that I found them was by doing smart online marketing, networking in sort of things like Facebook groups or LinkedIn groups, and also networking offline to a certain extent. So going and actually talking to people face to face, as scary as that is. So when you're starting your VA business, when I'm training people on how to start their VA businesses, the first thing we always talk about, before we talk about anything else, any of the other things that I've mentioned up there, is about who your ideal client is. So really drilling down into what kind of people do you want to work with? Where do they hang out? What does their business look like? Are they married? Do they have kids? How old are they? Are they male? Are they female? By drilling down into all of that information, it allows you to understand them. And when you understand them, what you can do is you can talk to their pain points. Sounds sadistic. But if you know you are trying to work with people like me, mums of small children, breaking their legs, running online businesses, then you know that my pain points and my pressures are that I'm tired, I'm knackered all the time, that I'm running my business half the time from my phone, that I network entirely in an online world. And suddenly you can start to build a picture not only of the language and content you need to put in front of these people, but also the places that you need to be in to find them online. Or the types, I never get time to go face-to-face networking apart from when I'm places like this. So people trying to find me wouldn't necessarily go to a face-to-face networking meeting. One of the mistakes people often make when they start out with their VA business is by being too generic and saying, well, I don't really have an ideal client. I'm a VA and I offer admin to small businesses. And this is a big mistake to make, because what you need to do is to find a way to make your clients sit up and go, Charlotte knows me and Charlotte understands me, therefore she's the VA for me. There's around 1,500 UK-based VAs at the moment, and more coming to market every day. So you need to make sure that by understanding who your client is and talking to them and showing that you understand them, that you are standing out to them. So be where they are, build the relationship through understanding them and demonstrating that you know what their time pressures are and you can solve those problems. So finding clients isn't always easy, but if you know who your ideal client is, it's a hell of a lot easier. So what about services? Have you guys ever heard of the phrase, jack of all trades, master of none? Well, again, when I started out as a VA, I thought that I would have to offer absolutely everything to everybody, even though I hated some things like social media and stuff is still not my bag. The key to what services you should be offering is to look at what you like doing and what you're good at doing, and then to a certain extent, what services your ideal client's looking for. So really start to think about the tasks or the pieces of software or the systems that you really enjoy doing, and also what people compliment you on, what you're rewarded for, what do people say you're really good at, what do you feel you're really good at. See where those meet, and in the middle you should find a list of, hopefully, tasks or services that you can then offer out to people. People that try to offer it all end up failing because there are going to be some things that we're not good at, God forbid. But again, it goes back to me with my social media. If I attempt to run social media campaigns for a client, it's not going to work because I don't enjoy it. And the benefits of running your own business is that you can pick and choose what you like. You don't have to do the stuff you don't like. Just in case you're wondering, the top 5 services I think at the moment that people are asking for VAs to do are things like, I guess what I'd call traditional PA stuff, so diary management, email management, that sort of thing. Email marketing, so using pieces of software like MailChimp, Infusionsoft, Constant Contact, things like that to email marketing to people. Social media management, strategy as well around social media campaigns. Digital marketing, and also web design or more website maintenance. So if they've got a WordPress website, keeping the back end of that going, or if they've got a membership site attached to it, that sort of thing. So that might give you some insight into the types of areas that are being asked for. But again, the term VA covers so many different roles that it could be, there's lots of other services out there you can offer. Those are just the 5 main ones that are there. So I guess what I'm saying is you can't and you shouldn't offer it all. Stick to your own zone of genius and outsource the rest. So if you're thinking, what happens if you get a client that comes to you for that social media that you don't like doing? Really simple. Outsource it to another VA. I can tell you how to do that later. Of course, we all want to know, how much will I earn? And how long is a piece of string? Everybody's going to have their own personal restrictions around when they work, how they work, what they charge. So some people will be able to work 5 hours a week, some will be able to work 50 hours a week. I wouldn't recommend that. The industry average at the moment here in the UK is £25 an hour. So it doesn't matter where you're based, to be clear. Your clients could be anywhere. There's no London waiting. So £25 an hour is the average. There's people that charge less than that, and there's people that charge a hell of a lot more than that. When figuring out how much you're going to earn from your VA business, you need to factor into the equation that around 25% of your time you need to put aside to spend on your own, I guess, your own admin and tasks and marketing and things like that. So when you're figuring out how much time you have to work, 25% of it will need to go into running your own business. Asking in my membership community what a good month for them was insightful. But if you have an established VA business with maybe a team of associates and perhaps some other income or revenue streams, it's not out of this world to be earning between £4,000 and £5,000 a month for your VA business. Now, bear in mind, you'd obviously have to take away your expenses, registrations, tax, NI, all of that. But that might give you some sort of idea about what a good VA business will start to earn. And bear in mind, obviously, that it takes time to get to that point. So it does take a good 6 months, I would say, to build up your VA business. So if you're thinking about making that leap, make sure that you've covered yourself cost-wise for that 6 months to make sure that you're not under any undue pressure, well, no more than starting a business. So yeah, I'd really encourage you to, based on those figures, sit down before you're making the leap and work out how many hours you can work, how much you think that you want to charge, because again, it's a personal choice. You need to make sure when setting your hourly rate that you feel comfortable with it. So if £25 still feels like too low, go higher. But you need to make sure when you're talking with your clients, you feel comfortable saying that's what I'm worth. So know your own worth, charge for it, and stick to it. One of the biggest mistakes you can make around charging clients is to start negotiating around your rate. Stick to it, because you will get people that will say no to it, but you'll also get a hell of a lot of people that will say yes to it. Can I actually do this? I ask myself this all the time. I think if there's one thing from this whole presentation I could leave you with today, it would be for you to try to believe that you can do it. When I started my business, I had no plans about being self-employed. I really didn't think that I could run my own business, but hey, who knew it? I can. And with a bit of support and a bit of help and a bit of training, I've been able to do it. And to be frank, if I can do it, if someone as disorganized as me can do it, then absolutely anyone can do it. It's going to take hard work, it takes dedication and a pretty good plan, but as long as you've got some good support on board, not just with training and peer communities, but with your family and your friends, knowing what you do, then it really, really is achievable. When you feel this question creeping up into your head saying, can I actually do this? Try to get to yourself to a place where you say, well, why can't I do this? What's holding me back from doing this? So running your own business is a real option for you. But remember, your mindset's everything. Ultimately, it will help you to succeed or it will hold you back. So if you do want to get started, I would encourage you firstly, as I've said, to get some good support on board, get some training, get a good peer network together, get your family on board. There can be a real risk of isolation in the outset. lots of you, I'm sure, are sat there working in busy teams with people around you, noise. I wasn't quite prepared for the stark reality of sitting in one room 8 hours a day at home and never getting out and talking with people. So make sure that you've got a really good support network, people that you can talk to or people you can Skype so you actually see some other faces. I spent a lot of time talking with my cats in the early days. It was cats or baby. I figured the cats were probably more sensible. Make sure that you get your core setup in place. So when I'm talking about core setup, I mean make sure you have a good laptop, a stable internet connection, a way of talking to your clients, a phone or a Skype or a Zoom or whatever it is that you want to use. Things like legalities, contracts, it's so important to have good contracts in place. Insurance, make sure you're covered to handle your clients' data, those sorts of things. Really simple and easy to master, but they're things that good training and support can really help you with in terms of running a safe online business. Get into some really good VA Facebook groups. There's quite a few out there. Obviously, I've got one as well, lots of free groups, and network with your peers, with other VAs. I had a call with a lady this week who was saying that she's thinking about becoming a VA, but has never spoken to anyone in the VA support groups because she assumes that they will be cold towards her and they won't help her, or that they will turn her away. The VA industry is not like that at all. It's really collaborative because I think we all understand we all do something different. Even if we're offering the same services to the same clients, we are all different. And what people are buying into when they buy VAs is that relationship piece. A bit like one of the speakers was saying earlier this morning about artificial intelligence and why she doesn't think that will ever completely wipe out our role. It's the human interaction. People work with their VAs because they like them, they know them, they trust them. So you need to make sure that you are networking with other VAs, and there could be cross-referral opportunities, or they might want to be building a team of associates, or you might want to be building a team of associates. So it's really, really important that you network with the other VAs. And the best way to start anything, corny as it sounds, is just to start. Make yourself a plan, decide on what that plan looks like. If it involves leaving a job, decide on that end date, set yourself some accountability and hold yourself accountable, or get someone on board to hold you accountable, and just take it step by step. The initial leap's scary, I'm not going to lie, but the rest that follows that is far, far less terrifying and much more fun and rewarding. So hopefully that's a real whistle-stop tour into the world of the VA. There's lots more I could cover off. Does anyone have any questions?
Hi. Is there anything you miss from working in a corporate environment?
The team, yeah, the people. It's that whole isolation piece of being, even just like doing something and wanting to say to somebody, what do you think about this? And you're like genuinely, I asked the cat, and then the cat kind of looks at me and go, right, okay. That banter, the noise around me, I think that's the biggest bit that I miss. But I think that's why it's important to have a community, whether that's other VAs or other business owners or whatever, that you can kind of just tap into when you're having those moments, but not much else.
I don't know if it's hard for you to identify, but do you find that large businesses are starting to use VAs? Or does it tend to be like one-off individuals?
So there was the whole PwC thing, wasn't there, with them taking on virtual assistants, but they were still employed. Now, to me, my interpretation of VA virtual assistant is running your own business and having the freedom to sort of set your own rate and do that sort of thing. There are some large businesses doing it, but that's sort of more few and far between at the moment. It tends to be small businesses, entrepreneurs, people like coaches, non-exec directors, some sort of tradespeople and local businesses, but no, most of my VAs get their business from kind of coaches and, yeah, the entrepreneurial clients, really. Hello.
I just wondered if you ever found yourself stressed or have like too much work, or is that a stupid question? I don't know.
That's such a good question. The lady before was talking about self-care, and I loved it, and I really kicked myself for not putting a piece in here about self-care. But yeah, I went through massive burnout last year because as a business owner, I can see Nikki's nodding here, there's no, as much as you can have the freedom, there's no restriction. And I think about my business all the time. all the time. So I was working, not even working long hours, but I was thinking about it all the time and stressing about it all the time. And because it's all on your shoulders, there's not many places you can go. And, you know, as soon as you then stop doing those self-care things, it can be hard. But yeah, you've got to put some good boundaries in place.
One last question then.
Yeah.
Do you find, like today, it's a lot harder to become a VA due to more PAs moving into the VA world and less clients available due to a lot of companies still preferring to have in-house PAs?
No. I think there's, just as there's more VAs coming to market, there's more and more startup companies and more entrepreneurs. And the world of the online business is just growing exponentially. And with that comes people that, you know, many of these businesses don't have premises. They want people that are virtual. And more than that, they want support that they can pick up and put down rather than having someone there all the time. I still get people that want basically an in-house PA, but someone virtually. But those aren't very, very frequent. I think with the world of online business growing, the opportunity for VAs is only going to increase. Thanks.
Can everyone give Charlotte a round of applause? That was really interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.